morning, Year 8. I hope you're well and having a lovely day. Please could you write the date and the title, the role of the narrator, and the use of orphans in literature. For this lesson, you'll need a pen, pencil, and highlighter, a PDF copy of the Great Expectations extract, and your exercise book. So do now. I would like you to list as many stories or films as you can think of which have orphans, or children who have been separated from their parents, as the main characters. Why do you think so many writers use orphans as their main characters? Pause the video for 5 minutes to do this now. Okay, so we've got Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. We feel instant sympathy for Harry when we see how cruelly he is treated by the Dursleys. He quickly becomes the hero, so we are on his side when he has to fight powerful adult adversaries. Peter Pan. Charismatic Peter takes Wendy and her brothers from the nursery when their parents have gone out. In Neverland, Peter is the leader of the Lost Boys, a tribe of boys who have no mothers. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Peter, Susie, Edmund, and Lucy are evacuated to the countryside during World War II. They explore the old house where they are staying, and without their parents there to watch over them, they discover an exciting and dangerous land. And then we finally have a series of unfortunate events. The Baudelaire orphans try to solve the mystery behind their parents' death while in the custody of the murderous Count Olaf, who wants to steal their inheritance. So if you didn't get these, jot them down now. So why do writers choose to write about orphans? By not having parents to watch over them, they are vulnerable to being mistreated by powerful adult characters. And they can also go on exciting adventures. We feel sympathy for them as readers, and we cheer them on to succeed. Everybody loves an underdog. The two most famous orphans from Dickens' novels are Oliver, from Oliver Twist, and Pip, from Great Expectations. Pip is the narrator of Great Expectations, so we see the events in the novel from his point of view. He is the novel's first-person narrator. Your task: annotate the quotation below. What does the word Pip suggest about the main character? Pause the video for 2 minutes to do this now. So Pip indicates small and vulnerable and has the potential to grow and develop, a bit like an apple pip. Great Expectations begins with Pip visiting the graves of his parents and younger brothers in the churchyard. This is something which Pip does quite regularly, but on this particular afternoon he becomes very frightened and starts to cry. The distant savage lair from which the wind was rushing was the sea, and that the small bundle of shivers, growing afraid of it all and beginning to cry, was Pip. It is at this point that Pip is surprised by an escaped convict, Abel Magwitch. Magwitch is wearing a leg iron to stop him from being able to run quickly. Your task: read the extract describing Pip and Magwitch meeting. Pause the video for 10 minutes to do this now. Your task: now you've read the extract, order these events to make sure you know exactly what is happening. Pause the video for 5 minutes to do this now. Okay, so this is the order. Magwitch jumps out from behind a gravestone, threatening to kill Pip. Magwitch asks Pip his name and where he lives. Magwitch turns Pip upside down and empties his pockets. Magwitch sits Pip on top of the gravestone while he eats Pip's bread. Confused, Magwitch runs to hide when he thinks Pip's mother is alive and well in the graveyard. Magwitch discovers that Pip lives with a blacksmith and looks down at the iron on his leg. Magwitch demands that Pip meets him with a file and some food, victuals, or he will have his heart and liver out. Make sure you've got them copied down in the correct order. We're now going to look at the different ways that Pip responds to Magwitch as a young boy in the graveyard, and as an adult, looking back on a memorable moment from his childhood. Your task: read the extract and answer the questions supporting your point with quotations. 1. How does the young Pip feel about Magwitch? 2. What do we learn about Pip's character in this extract? "Oh, don't cut my throat, sir," I pleaded in terror. "Pray don't do it, sir." "Tell us your name," said the man. "Quick!" "Pip, sir." "Once more," said the man, staring at me. "Give it mouth." "Pip, Pip, sir." "You young dog," said the man, licking his lips. What fat cheeks you have got! I believe they were fat, though I was at the time undersized for my years, and not strong. Darn me if I couldn't eat 'em, said the man, with a threatening shake of his head, and if I hadn't half a mind to. I earnestly expressed my hope that he wouldn't, and held tighter to the tombstone on which he had put me, partly to keep myself upon it, partly to keep me from crying. Pause the video for 10 minutes to answer the questions on the slide. So how does Pip feel about Magwitch? Pip is clearly extremely frightened of Magwitch. He pleads with him in terror and grips tightly to the gravestone to keep himself from crying. He also believes that Magwitch is a violent criminal who is willing to cut his throat and is capable of eating him. I earnestly express my hope that he wouldn't. In terms of what we learn about his character, Pip's behaviour is typical of a young, frightened boy in this extract. The polite language he uses, constantly referring to Magwitch as Sir, reveals that he either has very good manners or is aware that being respectful might help him in this dangerous situation. Your task: read the extract below and make notes on the way that Pip, the narrator, describes Magwitch. Has his view of Magwitch changed since he was a boy, and how does Dickens' use of language and structure suggest this? A fearful man, all in coarse grey, with a great iron on his leg. A man with no hat, and with broken shoes, and with an old rag tied around his head. A man who had been soaked in water and smothered in mud and lamed by stone and cut by flints and stung by nettles and torn by briars, who limped and shivered and glared and growled, and whose teeth chattered in his head as he seized me by the chin. Pause for 10 minutes to answer the 2 questions. So here, his view of Magwitch has changed since he was a boy, as he's been presented as frightened and vulnerable, much like Pip himself. So fearful, Magwitch frightens Pip, but is also frightened himself. His clothing is old and worn. Dickens lists the different ways he has been attacked by the environment. The sentence length emphasises his suffering, so clear use of listing. And Dickens juxtaposes Magwitch's suffering with his aggression here, perhaps excusing his behaviour. Right, that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Thank you very much for your hard work, and I look forward to speaking to you next time.